Do it to it, honey.
Oh, hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I know it's a big surprise. Me going live at this time, 6 p.m. Philippine time on what is it? I don't even know what day of the week it is. Is it Tuesday? Well, anyway, we're here. Tuesday, August 29th in the Philippines. We are live because we won't be live tomorrow as scheduled. Instead of canceling it, I'll spend a few moments with you here. I hope you don't mind. I don't mean to interrupt your dinner if you're in the Philippines, nor upset your breakfast if you're in the States. but I decided, we'll get a live stream and they can. And then tomorrow during the scheduled live stream, we'll probably be on our way to Cebu. Hopefully we will. I'm not sure how that's all going to work out. I have my fingers crossed that all will be going smoothly tomorrow. But what we'll do is in the morning, Mammy and I, we will uh, head over to the Lapu-Lapu Lines ticketing office again, and we'll see if they're leaving that evening at 8 for the overnight ferry. If they tell us it's a no-go, then what we'll do is we'll hop on a bus to Ormoc. It'll probably take us an hour to get there, maybe an hour and a half. And then we'll take our chances at the terminal. And we'll just hang out in Ormoc until we can get a fast ferry or an overnight ferry or a morning ferry out of the port there. So we're taking a chance. I realize that. Could be that everything will go upside down or sideways on us and we'll end up staying overnight in Ormoc. But anyway, I got to get over to Cebu. Mammy and I got to get over to Cebu. We got to pay our rent on the 1st. I'm never late. So anyway, let me bring up the chat to see who all is here. I hope you can hear me okay. Looks like Tim Desiak found his way here. Yan, you're in the number 121. Uh-oh, I hope you're in there anyway, yeah. You've got Anna May in the house. Did Minnie get her point for her swearing-in ceremony? No, she didn't. And that's the other thing. We may have to actually make a trip to Manila so that we could see what's going on in that department. It's been about, we're going on 3 months now, and I've heard that it only takes like 2 months or so. And so there's been no notification whatsoever. Of course, we haven't called and checked. It's probably just better to head out there, head to Manila. I want to go there anyway to have some fun and to catch up with a few friends there. And we'll do that all. We'll square that all away on this next trip. Cebu to Manila might be the plan. Yeah. Maybe we'll get the notification. I don't know. We might even fly out of Tacloban tomorrow if it turns out that we're unable to get a ferry. Anyway, what do we have? 3 main people in the house. Like I said, I appreciate y'all being here. Thanks, Anna May, for sharing it out. Whoever else shared it out. I realize that I'm interrupting dinner and there are probably other people doing their regularly scheduled live stream. So what were we going to talk about today anyway? What was I going to talk about? Somebody remind me. Let me go to my phone and let me see what we were going to be talking about for tomorrow. Usually I gear up and I do my research about 15 minutes before the live stream. I didn't get a chance to do that this time, to do any kind of research on what I was talking about. I usually will come up with a subject and do research on it about 15 minutes prior to go live. Because I'm usually talking about other stuff, right? Let's see. I have a couple of notes to self. Let me see what they are. Oh yeah, the monthly budget cost of living in the Philippines. You know, this came up. This came up the other day again, right? Where people are having a hard time accepting the fact that the Philippines is no longer one of the or the cheapest, I should say. A better way of saying it, it's no longer the cheapest country to live in Southeast Asia. Of course, the people that are here know this. The people that are here know this, and that's why you're seeing a lot of streamers. You know, a lot of YouTube makers, creators, and live streamers. They're relocating. This is the reason why they're this is the reason why they're leaving the Philippines, because it's getting very expensive to live here. It is misleading. What does it say? What's the misleading part? So, all things being equal, if you're a newbie coming into the Philippines, you have your work cut out for you. Oh, hi. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that. I hope you guys don't mind me having a little evening libation. This is usually my routine. Mm, mm, very nice. Okay, let's talk about it. Cost of living in the Philippines. Quick facts. Now, if you don't have to take. Oh yeah, live from Cebu. That's right. I'm not there. So I was going to be there to do this live stream from Cebu, but I didn't make it. So, folks, go and look at people's live streams like Rebeauty, and go into Steve's Philippine Information Channel, uh, the old Cano, just about Sunshine Shoulders. Everybody is talking about it. These guys can't be wrong. In other words, in the beginning, they were very, very tentative until they started to see the pattern that things economically are blowing up here in the Philippines, and they're blowing up very, very quickly. You know, every time you turn around, they want double money for this and double money for that. Oh, by the way, very interesting development I would like to share with you. I've been talking on the last live stream and the one prior about how part of the reason for drawing this and putting it on the wall here with this painter's tape is because if I view it every day, then it becomes my reality, because it becomes I internalize it. So today I got a phone call about a couple of houses for sale that I've already checked out. They're here in Leyte that I'm taking a look at them. One of them was spectacular, but I don't think I could afford it. One of them was a huge house on a huge lot with three apartments already on it. I believe that the building is only something like, or the buildings are only like three years old or so. It looks relatively new. It does need. Are some things I observed that they don't look right to me. Anyway, we took a look at it. We went over there. Me realizing that if you really want this to happen, another house in Dan and Minnie's portfolio, then you have to actually get off your butt and go take a look at them, right? So this one was a little bit out of Dan's budget. I think they wanted $500,000 for it. $500,000 American, and I was looking at somewhere around. I don't think I was looking at $500,000 for the stuff. You know, I mean, it would be. It's easy to. Oh, you did that. Now I'm blue. Well, this thing doesn't rub off on you. You must have the other type of tape. No, I wasn't saying tape it up. Tape yourself up with it. Oh, you mean your Blue Man Crew? Okay, I get it. I get it now, Tim. So anyway, we took a look at it. It's a little bit too rich for my blood. I really didn't see the value. I didn't see the value in it. Um, it's income producing property, but I started thinking to myself, if the idea is income producing property, then the timing is pretty bad. I mean, what caught my attention is all of a sudden you have a couple, not just one. The second property was also income producing property. And so that definitely caught my attention. Why would people all of a sudden be bailing out of income producing property? Tim, do you have any idea for me as to why that might be? Things are going well. People are they have 100% occupancy, both places do, and then all of a sudden, they want to bail on them and they want to cash them out. They want to take the profit and run. That that usually makes me a little bit nervous. When I start it. Two isn't really a pattern. Three might really catch my attention. If all of a sudden the third property that I hear about is all of a sudden income producing property, that may very, very well send a clear signal to me that something ain't cool in the neighborhood at all. That they're anticipating tough times ahead in the Philippines and other places. So anyway, but the reason why I'm going to go over this, I'm going to go what I think is a very, very good budget or idea of what the expenses have become here in the Philippines. This particular article that I ran into came the closest to what I believe it is. And so I got this from, it's called The Monthly Cost of Living in the Philippines, 2023 Best Budget Tips. And I cannot, I'm trying to see where the name of the author of the article is, but I cannot find it. And so that's disappointing. So it's a website. Yeah, it's a website. But if you Google monthly cost of living in the Philippines 2023, and in parentheses it says best budget tips, then you're probably going to be in the same place that I'm at. Good evening. How you doing? Well, we didn't make it to Cebu because the weather, there's a low pressure system and the boats they're not letting them set sail. So we're trapped here for another day, maybe even another 2 days. Let's see. Tim says because they bought the place at an inflated price and they can't rent it for what they need to make a profit. That is quite possible. I'm looking at the place. I'm kind of thinking, I looked at a couple places. I'm getting the idea, Tim. All of a sudden, I got the idea. It's starting to resonate that the only way to do this is to go ahead and build build the house that I want to build myself, because it's the only way that you can control um, that aspect of it, of not getting burned and not taking on someone else's headache. You take on your own headache because you're the one that built it. And so as I started looking around, here in the Philippines, it's starting to become very popular to cast. Folks are trying to move away from hollow block. If you look at Finn Snow's latest video, you're going to see his house that he's building in Darwin, and they're not using hollow block. And so there are a couple of methods of construction that are very, very impressive that had I been here during the building of this house, I would have liked to have used instead of hollow block. But we did the best we can during the global calamity lockdown. And so what I started thinking about, quite frankly, is that people are getting a little bit nervous and they're thinking that it may happen again. So now in both these cases of these homes that we took a look at that are for sale, that are income producing property, one is from the United States, one owner, and one of them is from Germany. And so they've been going back and forth for the better part of 3 to 5 years. So why is it that all of a sudden they would both get the idea that they should sell with the intent of staying in their home countries as opposed to coming back to the Philippines? That's what the story is anyway. And so it's making me a little bit nervous. Yes, it's better to be safe. Yeah, of course, I had my usual fit. Oh man, we can't go. Dang it. Dang it. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to go over some things here about the cost of living in the Philippines. I think that you're going to find it to be A-OK. Larice is in the house. Hi, Larice. John Zell, Jangard is here. if you're considering, so I'm just going to read part of this article. If you're considering moving to the Philippines, now is the perfect time to do it. With the cost of living in the Philippines ranging from 605 per month in the rural areas to 2,000 per month in the Philippines metropolitan areas, living on a luxury budget. So they're calling 2,000 per month a luxury budget. So what do you folks think about that? So the average Filipino budget is about $300 to $400 per month for a family of four. And so when someone says, okay, that the Philippines is ranging from 605 per month, and I believe you can do it as a single person at 605 if you keep rent at 50% of what your income is, and then you watch your money, you watch the other spending on the other $300 very, very closely. I do believe that you would be okay in that type of a budget range. So, but when they start clarifying what they mean, that's where they're kind of like losing me. Because although I believe you probably could live in the province on $600 per month, it's not something that I would be interested in doing. Now, one, I'm not single. I think that's a single person's budget. And the other thing is, it doesn't allow me that much flexibility to do all the things that I'm interested in doing, like traveling and things like that. 2,000 a month definitely gets me there, right? But I've said before on this channel that Mammy and I were living on 1650 per month. 1650 is a very, very comfortable budget, and we don't have to consult with each other about what we're buying, where we're going to travel to, what food are we going to eat. We just don't even think about it on that kind of a budget. We don't think about it until Mam Minnie, she balances the budget every day, and then she'll tell me out of that 1650, that's American money, $1,650, which is a very, very extravagant budget, if you ask me. She will tell me or sound the warning sign of how much money is left out of that 1650. And so she did that. She did that today, but we still have a few more days left in the month, right? She did that today by saying that, okay, I balanced the checkbook, I balanced the budget, and we have about $200 left for the rest of the month. $200 is a lot of money for the Philippines. So I'm very pleased to hear that we have that $200, because that's going to get us a long way. That'll actually cover the first few days that we're in Cebu and the rest of the month of August. And so I'm not worried at all about whether we'll have a shortfall or not. We only have a few days to go, right? What's August? 31-day month or something like that. So according to recent reports, the average person in the Philippines earns around 58,000 per month. The average person they're talking about. 58,000 would be about 6,000 per month. Hi, Pinky Gray. I fell asleep listening to you sing. I fell asleep listening to you sing to me last night in your live stream. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for the shout out. I really appreciate it. So they're saying the average person earns around 58,000 per month. And so that's how much money? 58,000 per month is a lot, right? 50,000 would be 1,000. Oh yeah, that's a lot. And then yeah, that's right. So that they're talking $1,200 per month. Man, I just don't know anybody in the Philippines that are Filipinos that are making that kind of money unless they're a lawyer, they're in the medical profession, a doctor, a lawyer. The candlestick makers and the shoe repair people, they're not making $58,000 per month in the Philippines. I just can't hardly believe it. So they're saying this is a significant increase from previous years, as the average income was around 46,000 in 2017. Hey, I wonder if they're talking median income and not average income. So this is why it's always good to try and find out who's behind writing the article. And this one, I don't know where they're grabbing their statistics from, but they differ from the stats that I get from the government offices, talking about what the income levels are like in the Philippines. I'm your lullaby tonight. Remember, I'm your alarm clock. That's right. You were our alarm clock when we were in the U.S. That's absolutely true. I miss it. That quite honestly, man, Minnie and I will go into your live stream, and then we'll start talking about. Do you remember how we first met Pinky Gray? And yeah, it's fun. It's fun to reminisce about that. It wasn't all that long ago that we were in Sacramento 2 years ago or so, right? And we were listening to you, and you were the one that inspired us to start a YouTube channel and get going and all this other stuff. I was like, man, I like what Pinky Gray is doing. I want to be like Pinky Gray. Yeah, except for, I'm not very girly. I'm definitely not pink, and I can't sing. So other than those couple of things, so it says the Philippines is truly an incredible tropical paradise. Yes, it is. That is 3 times cheaper than living in New York City. Uh, hmm. Okay, 3 times cheaper than living in New York City. 3 times cheaper. So let's talk more about that. Jerry's here. Hi, Jerry. How's it going? The Philippines has incredible weather, fantastic scenery, and an incredible Filipino culture, spectacular views and destinations. The affordable cost of living in the Philippines with a monthly income of 600 to 2,000 American, it is possible to live for even as low as 600. Yes, so they have to take another shot at that $600 to convince you that it's okay. Um, but it also says we don't recommend that because it's stressful. So they're saying that moving to the Philippines and living on a $600 budget would put you at about the same level of stress as you're already experiencing now in the United States. And that may be true. That's one of the reasons why I kind of like this article, generally speaking. The monthly food budget, housing expenses, and transportation options in the Philippines are determined by your budget and spending habits, and of course now by how much money your landlord wants to charge you for rent. So although $60 per month apartments can still be found in the Philippines, I'm gonna put my neck out there saying that's not an everyday occurrence. Yes, you'll find the apartments for $60 a month, and then you have to ask yourself, do you want to live in that type of environment? And Steve has pointed out several times on the Philippines Information Channel that it's all up to you to make it what you want to make it into. So it may involve you having to purchase things to make your life more comfortable and to emulate your Western lifestyle. So I think that all is very true. The monthly living cost in the Philippines, uh, it goes into a little bit more detail. This particular article, if you budget smartly, it says. So basically, if you're an idiot on the budgeting, don't come here. So I like the way he did that. That's the wiggle. That's the wiggle room. You can expect to spend 1,000 to 1,400 per month for all expenses. Okay, did you catch that? So this author, he or she, it's got to be a man. It's got to be one of those dreamer guys. Ropes us in by saying $600 a month. It's possible, but they do say, hey, but I wouldn't want to do it. And then in this part, in this paragraph, right away before we even get into the article, it says, and if you budget smartly, you can expect to spend 1,000 to 1,400 per month for all expenses. So, what are you budgeting? So 600 a month. If you're not budgeting smartly, you can't survive on that. I mean, when you just this person just told us that you could. So, but the fact is, and I agree with the next line here, the Philippines is 8 times cheaper than living in New York City. but not 8 times cheaper than necessarily than living in upstate New York, like Albany, Colony, Schenectady, and those types of places that are much cheaper areas to live upstate New York than actually living close to New York City, where all the movers and the shakers live. And there's a reason why they want to live there, and that's because that's where the center of everything financial in the entire United States takes place. You have Wall Street, you have the stock market, you have all the action right there in New York City. And so it's going to be expensive to live there, and it's going to be expensive to do anything there. Eat, go to restaurants, and food costs and all that stuff are all extremely elevated. But that's only New York City. There's New York City and there's the rest of New York. Long Island, the same thing. If you took the Long Island Railroad and you went all the way out as far as it'll go, does it go all the way to the end? Yeah. When I was living there, it only went out to Port Jeff Station. Someone told me it goes damn near all the way to the end of the island. So I used to live in Riverhead and Rocky Point. An interesting thing has happened when I lived there, but I'll share that during a different live stream. So then it says, with a monthly income of less than $1,500 per month US, it's possible to live well and sometimes even as low as six. Sometimes, he said. So he's being fair. He's saying, okay, if you're a dreamer and all you got is 600 to work with, there's probably a way to make it work, but you probably won't enjoy it that much. The monthly rent in the Philippines, food budget, housing expenses, and transportation options are determined by your budget and spending habits. No kidding. The same thing in the United States. How much money I have to spend, what my budget is based on how much I spend. That's amazing coincidence there. So they're saying, to put in perspective for you, so to get an idea of the cost, you would need around $2,000 in the Philippines to maintain the same standard of life that you have with $10,000 per month in New York City. I think that also is an accurate number. On average, the cost of living in the Philippines is 81% lower than in the United States. And I thought a lot about that, and I think that it's close. It's close to that. So I think it's fair to say that number is a pretty good number. So that it's 81% lower to live in the Philippines than in the United States, but it was much lower a few years ago. And how would I know that? Because I've been traveling here for 20 and 25 years. So I know what it costs. I know what hotel costs were back in the day. I know what food costs were back in the day. I know what a house cost back in the day. And the reason why I do, because I went on 20, 25 years ago when they were just starting to latch on to this idea of selling homes to the foreigners. You would go in the mall and there would be people promoting their neighborhoods that they were putting up all over the place. You'd find them in Robinson's Mall, Robinson's Place Mall in Ermita. You'd find them in all the tourist areas all over the Philippines. They were going to rope you into going in the company van. As soon as they got a van full, they would shoot you out to the new development, and they would take you through those model homes. So I know how much a house costs. I would say that if I recall correctly, I would say a 35 square meter home on a very, very small lot, up and down. We're talking 2-story, because that's the way they build them. Your kitchen and one guest bathroom and your living room would be on the first floor. That's a common theme. And then on the second floor would be a bathroom and your living area, 2 bedrooms. Generally it was 2 bedrooms. You have 2 bedrooms, one big one small. You would have a bathroom and then you would have the bathroom that services those two rooms upstairs, and then down on the first floor you'd have the guest bathroom, kitchen, living room, and that was usually open concept. So Tim is saying they were promoting homes to tourists 11 years ago. Yeah. Yep. The range of costs. Let's see. I already read that part. Okay, so now a house, 40 square meters, 35, I would say, closer to 35 square meters, up and down. LV, 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 LV. Thanks for posting that link for the old guy. I said the old guy. The little old, what is it? The old canoe. Yeah. Bakio Mertz is here. Not related to Manny, though. How you doing? Um, $20,000 is what I was quoted for one of the tract homes on the easy payment plan. So this is before they had mortgages or anything like that. They had, I think they still do it this way, right? They do it the way China does it. If they pre-build it, if they're pre-billing, they want a deposit and they want so much a month, and you have to continue making those payments every month as though you are living in the home. Okay, so the food budget, in my opinion, it's gone skyrocket. Some of you, you might have a different opinion. The food budget is going crazy, and plus there are a lot more frozen foods in the frozen food section. It's looking like Safeway in America, for crying out loud. It's looking like Kroger in America. Kroger is a big grocery store. It's looking like Walmart. You know, they have everything stuffed in there. And so every American brand conceivable is being presented to Filipinos. But they also know a lot of expats are moving there. And so I think the whole thing started by them catering to the expats. And then they realized that Filipinos were buying it because they want to taste of American culture. I'm not saying that it becomes a part of their food budget every single time they go to the market, but every once in a while they would pick up, some frozen hot cakes, for the, something like that, pre-made, already cooked hot dogs, stuff like that. Oscar Mayer, all beef, hot dogs. They would be picking up something, just to try out to see what we in the good old USA, which is basically crap. Uh, they still have, oh, Crystals is here. Uh, yes, they're trying to get the Filipino families to buy everything. I saw a two-story house that had a very narrow stairway. Yeah, that was sort of the kind of house that I was shown. And a Durabox wouldn't be able to get to the second floor. It was tough. It was tough getting up that very narrow stairway to the second floor. I remember all that stuff. I was thinking to myself, who would buy this home? If you're a Westerner, I was thinking to myself, they have a few things to learn about the comfort of Western living. So they define what they're talking about here. The food budget and grocery plan will cost you between $200 and $400 per month. So they're talking about the difference between you having one person household versus having a four-person household. So it says here a family of four estimated monthly cost is 2,000 American dollars. So it says basically if you're anything but single, you ought to be planning for 2,000 bucks if you're a family of four, right? And so I think that is 100% on the money. I think it's very, very accurate. So a single person estimated monthly costs are $800 to $1,500 per month. So how do we go? The question I have is how do we go from 600, the original intro to this article, to 800? In other words, 600, it can be done, right? But Then it comes down this article and says a single person's estimated monthly costs are 800 to 1500. That home was over 1 million pesos, so that's 20,000 bucks, right? A million pesos being 20,000. Hmm. Good evening, Crystal, with 8 children and no TV. That's funny. Okay, so single person 800 to 1500. I've said in the past that it can be done, right? It can be done. Transportation costs, expect to spend an estimated $100 to $200 each month on transportation. Hey, that's why it's a good idea when you're first moving there to move into, you know, the area. Like if you're in Cebu, move into the area where you're within walking distance of everything. So the difference between being in the heart of IT Park and then being in La Hube, which is about a 10 to 15-minute walk from IT Park, in terms of transportation would be enormous just to get from, even though you don't think it's a lot of money. If Mamini and I were spending $1 per day each going back and forth, which is probably a pretty good number, then we're spending, if we're doing that every single day, which most of the time we are, that adds up to between $100 to $200 each month for transportation. But if you let your feet do the walking, then you get to save that money on alcoholic beverages and wild wind. See? So that wasn't supposed to happen. That stuck to that. That stuck to that coaster. Anyway, in other words, that gives you a little bit of wiggle room for emergencies. I didn't mean wild women and alcohol. I do apologize for saying that. I meant you could set that money aside for emergencies. All right. Then it says, now I didn't like the way he phrased it, but I agree that I know plenty of Filipinos that live on a budget of $300 per month. And they always seem to have a smile on their face, but they do get stressed with their budget from time to time. And, uh, and so, but I think it's fairly accurate that it's between $300 and $400 for the locals. Expats, they're always wanting to emulate what they have back home in the West, and they should do that. They should do that because they want to be, you want to be as comfortable as you possibly can in your new surroundings while you learn the ropes, while you learn what's going on, while you learn the culture. You at least want to be able to come home to your sofa, like the sofa you had in the States, take a warm shower, and sit in front of your 98-inch big screen TV. I've been sitting there for 6 or 8 hours today, watching YouTube videos. But we did get out and we saw those houses I was talking about. Uh, Expats and digital nomads will spend more to keep up with their living standards of around $1,000 to $1,500 per month while living in the Philippines. So it's a very, very attractive lure for somebody, right? Especially if you're suffering and you're paying the average rent or mortgage payment in the United States, which is somewhere around $2,500 or $2,600 per month, and it's probably more money in Canada. So I think that gives you a better idea. So when I make blanket statements, yeah, I'm getting the information by reading government stats and articles from people who know what it's like, and also my own experience of being here, my own experience of traveling to the Philippines for 22 years. And Tim is saying, yeah, Wall Street, I think, and that's true. I know, and that's why I think it's so funny. You would have to put the TV set You'd have to be looking at it like this. Tim was saying that he lives comfortably on $1,200 a month, and I would say that that is a fine target budget for a single man with a part-time girlfriend. I'm having so much fun. Oh, Tim, you're living, man. You're living the dream, bro. You're living the dream. But listen, if you, here's the whole point. It's funny in Canada, I spend hours watching TV. When in the Philippines, I don't even turn on. Yeah, well, that's because in the Philippines, it's outdoor living that is the name of the game. And when I first got here, that was my life. When we go to Cebu, that's my life. Here in the province, here in this house that we built, life is so comfortable. I don't know how to explain it any other way. It's so comfortable. But like I've said, the big deal changer really is the building of the house and the owning of the real estate. I mean, that really makes the whole situation very, very pleasing. And so I don't, whenever anybody starts complaining about things that they're missing in the West, I'm honestly telling you that I don't even see it. I don't even see it. I'm already living in my alternative world, right? I'm living in their world, accepting their culture and the way things are without putting up a fight. I always have been that kind of guy in my adult life, not as a young adult or a young kid, but in the later years, I turned into this go with the flow, and nothing really bothers me that much, except for the LBC guy who said it would take $30 American in order to mail off this little box. I was a little bit perturbed at that. And I said, "Are you kidding me, mister?" I said something like that. He just looked at me like stunned. Look at that little box, and you want me to pay $30 to ship it from Cebu to Leyte? Oh my gosh, I was upset. I told Minnie, bring a big box or bring a bag, bring our big travel bag, so when we go back to Cebu, we could bring all the junk back on the overnight ferry. Charmaine is here. Hi, Charmaine. Anywho, it's funny. I shouldn't have become. I wasn't visibly upset. I was more joking, right? Joking in the way that, man, Minnie, she was rolling her eyes at me because I was going to do a video in the arcade. One of the other videos I wanted to do in the arcade was I wanted to get a video of her riding the pig, right? And so I was cracking up because as soon as she sat down in the pig ride, and I was getting ready to roll tape, just like the yellow taxi video that we did a while back. The guy comes running over and says, "You can't, you can't be on that pig." And I was looking at him like, "I beg your pardon." No, you cannot be on that pig. She can be on the pig. And so we go back and forth. We go back and forth. And I said, "Why? If you can explain why, I'm okay with it." He said, "It's because they don't want someone heavy getting on the pig and breaking it." I was dying laughing. My wife, all of whatever she is, 4'9" and 98 pounds soaking wet. I could not stop myself from laughing. It was so hella funny. And I said, "You do realize how ridiculous you sound, especially since the 8-year old or the 9-year old that just got off that pig looked like she weighed something like 170 pounds." And he looked at me and he was just like, "She can't ride the pig. She can't ride the pig." I looked at him like, "What are you, a robot?" I just started laughing. I couldn't help myself. Minnie was like, "Oh, Dan, hubby, oh no, oh no. We've got, we've got to get you away from this guy." That was the closest that was the closest I've ever come, I think, while being in the Philippines you know, blowing a cork. I almost blew a gasket. Minnie dragged me away. She said, "You're an old man. That young kid is going to kick your ass." She was protecting me. Activities and things to do in the Philippines were should run you around $80 to $150 per month. I would say that's another good number. Total monthly cost of living, Philippines cost, according to this specific person writing the article, is between 920 and 1400 pesos, 51,000 to 77, 78,000 pesos. And I'll tell you, that's a big budget, living large dude. I'm telling you. No, there was not a sign that says, "Please don't sit on the pig." I would have respected it. You would have respected it, Mike. So I guess somebody presented their actual monthly budget, and it was our rent and accommodation in the Philippines, $320, which is believable because man, Minnie and I, tax, license, and instructions were coming in at $280 per month in Cebu. Of course, here it's free except for the electricity and internet stuff. Over there, everything complete is $280. Electricity, high-speed fiber optic cable internet, water, uh, the room, all 280. And he's paying 320. That must be nice digs. And if you want to live in IT Park, it's going to be quite a bit more because that's you're getting into the luxury category. It's going to run you somewhere between $500 and $600 a month for an efficiency apartment. Efficiency apartment would be the same as a studio, but hey, you're going to be coming down the elevator, and the barista at Starbucks is going to be standing there holding your cup of coffee for you because she knows that every morning, or he knows every morning, you're going to be coming down the elevator at the same time to grab that cup of coffee. Dan, you can read signs barely. In about 15 minutes, I probably won't be able to. Utilities. This one I find a little bit difficult to believe, though. Our monthly utilities in the Philippines, such as water, electricity, Wi Fi, mobile phone. Oh, now I don't because he clumped them all together. It's running $100 per month. And I think if you have an efficiency apartment, 25 square meters or so, give or take a few square meters. That's about what it's going to run you. Electricity is only going to be something like $40 a month, give or take. Richie La Chica's here. So that is especially if you're squeezed in between two floors. So you're not getting and you're protected from direct sunlight. So if you have an interior space, which we don't, but if you did, then that's going to help. Because you're not going to get the sun coming through your window, heating the place up within minutes. So Filipino Raquel, that must be a strong libation. No, that's just a San Miguel. See, it looks like Emperador. I told him to make it look like Emperador, but it's not. It's just a beer. It's a beer in my favorite Emperador cup. They ran out of Emperador. Usually I have one drink every night over ice. What's wrong with that? I'm retired. I got no place to go. Oh, they have a monthly gym budget where they work out, and it runs them $80 per month. That's a little too rich for my budget. And we have monthly food costs 200 to 400. We covered transportation, activities we covered, and so you see. Um, but I will tell you that when I started traveling here to the Philippines 22, 23 years ago or so. I think it's about 23 now. I try not to think about it, but back then, it's something like $300 to $500 a month, and you're having the greatest time of your life. You're having the greatest experience of your entire life.
Jill is here.
Oh, Joe. Oh.
It's going down. He said it's going down. You went there.
You did? You went there to see it?
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
It's going down.
It went down in price?
Mm-hmm. Like this.
Oh, okay. I'm going to talk to you about it. All right. So we're talking because I was going to tell you the rest of the story. So I decided, yeah, no, I did tell it already. I did tell you that. So I decided after looking at those two pieces of property, I told the family, okay, keep your eyes and ears open for a 200 to 400 square meter lot that has clean title, does not need to be subdivided, all those things that could happen in the Philippines. And so they went out and they saw a piece of property near Visayas University. So they're excited. So I've been telling you uh, that I listen to the God voice in my head, and the God voice in my head is saying, move money, do become part of the unbanking revolution. And that means that you have to have some place to park your money. And there's no better place to park your money, as Mac Daddy mentioned on the last live stream, than in real estate. But it's not for me to get a return on investment, right? It's not really for that purpose, because I think it'll be a while before we could build a home on the land that they discovered or that they found. But you could build a rest home on it, a soft material house, and then we could grow a little bit of, some bananas on it, some mango on it. It's agricultural land, and so you can get a lot of food out of 450 square meters. All right, so Mike says, I think Dan is talking faster the more sips he takes. Tim is saying, yeah, well, that means that the live stream will end a lot sooner too, right? And Tim is saying, my monthly gym budget is 500 pesos, $10 a month. I think that if I were ever to go on the gym, as long as it were air conditioned, I probably would be okay. I probably would do it by the visit. I probably wouldn't join and do a monthly thing. I probably would just pay him by the visit. I know it probably would be more expensive, but that's probably how I do that. And I've never seen a Filipino that owns a gym turn down money. I've never seen that. Lexi is here. Lexia Vlog is here. So Lex, Filipino Raquel. My monthly budget is all over, Dan. Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah. What's a budget, right, Filipino Raquel? And why does it matter? Why does it matter, Let's see. What else? What else? What else? What else? So I said, so now I'm just saying what everybody else is saying. That's all. So is it more? So, okay. So I'm sorry I can't sell you a dream. I've got to sell you the truth, right? I can't tell you you can come here and live on $600 a month. I can't be the one to do that. Besides that, I think the majority of the people on YouTube, I mean, in general, the majority of the people that are from the United States, I would say they're mostly intrigued by the idea, but I think that very, very few people will actually make that journey. What is the alcohol budget? That's a good question. I do have one. I think I'd have to ask Man Mini on that. I really would. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I know that a bottle of Emperador runs me $150 a bottle, and I'll probably get $150, 150 pesos per bottle. That would be about $3, and that will last me. If it's a big bottle, no, the little bottle will last me about a week. It'll last me 5 days. So what would that make it? 3, 6, 9, 12. I'm not much of a beer drinker, so mostly it's Emperador over ice with no lime in there. I like it poured over ice. The chills and the ice starts to melt, and it's so delicious. So, Filipino Raquel is saying you don't need big property of traveling much more than staying at home. Yeah, you just stay at home. And so there's a lot of talk on the. You bring up a good point, Filipino Raquel, and that is that there's a lot of talk that there's a second lockdown, another COVID lockdown in our future. I'm not so sure. They might declare one, but will people actually do it? Is the question. Will they actually let government take that much control over the lives? That's what I'm curious about. That would definitely keep me in one place for a while. So if that were to occur, then many have already talked about it. We would just stay here. So even we have tickets to go to the United States in October. That yeah, I mean, there's a chance that we may not make it because they're going to shut everything down. I mean, it's happening pretty fast this time around. So Jack Hobson is here. How are you doing, Jack? Um, Cooking time. Yeah, you better feed the kitties. Kitties getting hungry. So I think we'll be here, and then what I'll do is, since I get a year because we're on Balik Bayan, but privilege, then I would have to go down to immigration and do the yearly renewal, and then do it another time, and then hopefully chapter 2 of this thing will pass us by. It gives us a pretty good baseline based on what happened the last time. How long do you would have to hunker down? Yeah, everybody's talking about it, but you know how I am. Once everybody starts talking about the same thing, then I start questioning it. I start going the other direction. Are they fear mongering? And so, but prices going up in the Philippines is not fear mongering; it's fact. And so, has the Philippines happened? It may have, because I'll tell you, if it weren't for the fact that we already have this house paid for, built house, and I mean, what? Why would I need to move anywhere else? And I'm married to a Filipina. Those are key factors in living in the Philippines. But would I be living in the Philippines as a single man? I question that. I question that because I may be pulling up stakes just like everybody else is, and they're starting to talk about going to Vietnam and other places. But I would be doing a lot of research on where uh, the next place is. But temporarily, all you're buying yourself if you're retirement age is 10 to 12 years. Tim is saying you can survive on 600 a month. You can live comfortably on 1,200 per month. That's Tim's viewpoint on it. And I take it seriously because Tim lives here and he has been living here for many, many years. And I know what my budget is. I know what Man Mini and our and we that 1650 that we spend, it goes a hell of a long way. I mean, as I said, we never have to crunch numbers until the end of the month when we prepare to establish a budget for the upcoming month. We decide then if we're gonna go out and blow some money, or or if we're gonna roll over the money into the next monthly budget. Yeah, I imagine you can because you're gonna be you can move in with Steve. Steve will probably be wanting a roommate. This woman moved out, right? I don't know if Steve has sleep apnea or whatever everybody here suffers from. Michelle is here. NEMC is here. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, I believe that and Dan Major 600 a month. I can't. See, I'm actually with Jack on this. I wouldn't want to do it. But if I were a single man and I had $600 a month, I would not be living in the Philippines. I would be living someplace else, right? Oh, I know. Now you're going to ask me, Dan, where would you be living? Well, there are plenty of places to live that are way cheaper than the Philippines. So since you've been here and you keep going back and forth and you know what it's like, you must love the culture, right? That's the only thing I could think of. What? No, it's not the culture that you're attracted to. Then what is it? Huh? What is it? You know what it is. You know the reason that you want to be here. What is it? Why don't you explain it to me? I don't understand. I'm just saying that if it's all about money, that's what everybody is talking about all the time. That's what everybody's telling me. Oh no, Dan, it's not like that. The Philippines hasn't happened. Okay, then. Well, how many times have you been here? None. Well, are you going to be here anytime soon? Because I'm willing to accept your viewpoint on it, as long as it makes sense to accept your viewpoint on it because you've been here. Otherwise, why don't you just go watch Steve at the Information Channel, watch how his channel has evolved over the years. Why don't you go in there and watch some of these other folks that are giving you constant budget updates? You know, there must be a reason why you want to live here, but cheap. You know, you keep saying it's cheap, and that's your number one reason. Are you sure that finding a young 25-year-old female that wants to marry an old codger like you has anything to do with you wanting to be here? Then why don't we talk about that instead of budget? Right? Yeah, just that Biden signed that bill tonight. You know, the bill that where they pour billion more dollars into remediation, you know, of the COVID. So, except for that issue, it wouldn't have caught my attention. But once they start throwing billions of dollars in budget at it, that catches my attention. That's my money they're spending, right? I find out, you know, about, you know, the booster vaccines and all this other stuff. The next part two, you know, or part three, or whatever we're in right now. So, oh, good. I'm glad you're doing well, Jack. I'm glad you're doing well. So, be honest with yourself as to the reason why you're coming here. You know, be honest with yourself. Dan, of all the countries I've been to as a single person because of the language, I would stay in the Philippines. Yes, I believe you, and that's the best reason. But you're not second wind on money either, are you, Mike? See, in other words, you're being transparent and honest, and I've been open and honest with everybody also. Jay Lynn is here. Hi, Jay Lynn. And so, but some people have been less than honest, you know, when they're talking about this subject. And they keep focusing in on the cost. And is the cost of living here in the Philippines that the vloggers and the influencers are focusing on, but they know damn well what it's really all about. And that is that I could show you the cheapest countries and where they are, where it is that are cheaper than the Philippines, and nobody is interested in hearing about those. Why, Mike? I mean, why aren't people interested in hearing about those? Do you think that I might have, I might be able to guess it and take if I take three guesses? If I gave you three opportunities to guess what it might be, let's talk about one of them, Portugal. Let's talk about number one, Portugal. Now you did qualify your statement, and so I appreciate that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Portugal, they speak Spanish and Portuguese, right? And so the whole thing about Portugal is you would have to adapt yourself to the language. Well, most people at our age, we're not willing to do that. You know, we want English proficiency. So if you want a beautiful Filipina, look at over 30. Better for your bank will be with you till death, till you die, yes. But that happens in a lot of countries, not just the Philippines. Any country that has Spanish influence, it's going to be like that. See, so you can go to Mexico, you can go to South America, you can go to Ecuador, you can go to Costa Rica, you can go all over the place. See, we're the only weird ones in North America, Mike. I don't know if we've discussed this before, right? But number two, by the way, number two, Mike, is an English-speaking country. All right. What's your guess? Number two, Aileen is here. Anything Cruise, welcome, welcome. 18 million people in the house. Thank you by honoring me with your presence in this unscheduled live. You know, the one I was supposed to do 11 or 12 hours from now won't happen. And so we're getting it out of the way. I'm getting all this stuff, out of my head right now. So I empty it out. So I'm all clogged up upstairs. Number 2 is Malaysia. It has a global peace ranking and a cost of living index far below the Philippines cost of living. Beautiful Asian women live there. Filipinas live there. You know, those are sisters of the Filipinos that live here. Those are the sisters. They live there. Right? And so very, very inexpensive place to live. Number 3, Spain. Cost of living index 4751. Global peace index 29. Girly Senna's here. Hi, Girly Senna. Thanks for being here. All right, so Spain is another one. That's number 3 in my smart asset index. Number 3. So if I were not married to a Filipina and I were like, I'm playing around, right? I'm playing around. Dan's been married, what, 4 or 5 times already? Okay, it took me a while to get a marriage that stuck. LV, LV, LV. Good for me, right? It could have taken me never. You know, I would have been a playa the rest of my life. And I was for 12 years, so I know what that life is like. And Mike, I believe you know what that life is like. Spain's number 3. So far, I don't see the Philippines. Where's the Philippines in the index? The cheapest place on the planet. Where is it? Philippines, where are you? Where are you? Okay, number 4, Costa Rica. They speak English there too. 43.65 on the cost of living index, and the global peace index rating 38. They love everybody. They don't want to fight anybody over nothing. You know, take it. Oh, the money on the ground. No, I believe that was yours. No, sir, it was yours. That's how you drop it. No, have it. It's okay. I want you to have it. Number 5 is Panama. Let's see. My only asset is my sense of humor, and that's all you need. That's all you need to be rich. Tim is saying one reason I moved here is the warm weather year round. Okay, so now we're talking weather, and pretty women had nothing to do with it. Okay, Tim, gotcha. It gets really hot here in the Philippines, Tim. I don't know if you know it or not. It's cooler in Costa Rica, where it's 78 degrees year round, and it's also cheaper to live there than the Philippines. I just would like to point that out. I would like to point something else out to you, Tim. They have beautiful women there. I'm just fooling around. I'm fooling around as usual. Number 6, the Czech Republic. Okay, so are you getting the idea? Where's the Philippines in here? Where's the Philippines as being the cheapest country? Number 7 is Peru. They got to at least be in the top 10, right? So don't disappoint me, Smart Asset Online. Don't disappoint me. The Philippines has to be. It has to be in the top 10 of the cheapest countries to live in. Otherwise, why am I here? Because they don't call me low budget Dan for nothing. No one has a lower budget than Dan. Well, that isn't true. You have all the people that think they can come here and live here on $600 a month. But I wouldn't want to do it, as Tim pointed out. Travel to Portugal is expensive. They say it is cheaper to live, but it's not if you look at the whole. Malaysia has many more restrictive rules. Spain has very rude people, and France doesn't like the USA. I don't like France either, quite frankly. I don't plan on moving to another country anytime soon. Okay, you're happy where you're at. You're acclimated to the culture and the environment, and that's a great thing. Peru. How many times have you been to those countries, Mike? I've been to Portugal, none, and I hope to get Malaysia in this year. And let's see, number 8, Slovenia. Number 9, Austria. I could come with 10 reasons why you shouldn't be living in the Philippines. Number 10. I'm not even going to read that to you. I don't believe that one. I don't even like French fries. Oh, I don't think they have French fries in France. And whenever some American, they say that joke, things go south right away. So that's it. Number 10 was Australia. Tips on retiring cheaply and comfortably. And then it just gives you the usual BS, right? And so the whole thing is Mexico would be on the list before the Philippines. Ecuador would be on the list before the Philippines. The Philippines is way down the list of countries that have the lowest cost of living. You see, that's the point, and it's not getting any cheaper to live here, and most people know that. Keeps going up and 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 up. And so it's going to continue to rise. And the reason is because it's the reason why I moved here. I knew the economy was going to grow. And the reason why I chose the Philippines, other than the fact that my wife is Filipino, we have a paid for house here. Two very important, if not the most important things to consider. Let's see, I haven't been to Panama or Peru or Eastern European countries. I'm going to talk about Eastern European countries in a moment. Is because the whole thing about I would be in Mexico, quite frankly. If I weren't here already because we have a paid for house, I'm married to a Filipina, I probably would not. I probably would be single, and I'd be traveling around South America and Panama, Costa Rica, all these places I've read about. I figured that I would burn up the remaining 12 or 15 years of my life doing that. If I weren't already here. But look at the situation it's beautiful. The situation that Minnie and I have. It's beautiful, and there's no need to change or reconsider. But the thing is to project that folks aren't being truthful about the economy and what's going on here. That's irritating to me. But and also equally irritating are all the dreamers, the influencers that are pushing out the crap because they want to get the views. And some of them, you have a lot that are honest. In fact, the majority of them just lay it out there. Of course, they don't get any views like on their channel like me because I'm just too honest and transparent. I'm just going to tell you the way it is. If you want to dream, you go to somebody else's channel. And you dream about living in Palawan or Boracay or some other white sandy beach with crystal blue water on $600 a month. And I'm not even saying it can't be done. I'm not saying it can't be done, but you may not like it. And you definitely have to come here and experience it before you could say that it isn't true what I'm saying. In other words, before you call me a liar and you start challenging me on the cost of living, how about you come here and prove me wrong? That's all I'm saying. Come here and prove me wrong. Ramses is here. Welcome, Ramses. I would pick the Philippines because of the people. I don't care about the money; it's the people. Yeah, and so I care about 4 or 5 different elements. Money would be number one, definitely. People probably would be way on the top. They're kind to me, I'm kind to them. People are the same all over the world, basically. Even in the United States, even in Canada, Mike. Every once in a while, you're going to run into a nice person. You're going to want to keep them as a friend. I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I have actually run into nice people all over the world. As a matter of fact, even in my own country, the United States. As a matter of fact, I ran into a hell of a nice Filipinos in the United States. People that I would love to have to be my neighbor, except for the whole karaoke thing, that irritates me a little bit. I had to call the police on the Filipino neighbor a couple of times. Let's see. Australia is where the devil keeps his pets. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, look at the United States. I mean, the way that we grew up. Oh my gosh. You understand the history of the United States, you'll understand their people for sure. But yeah, the Filipinos are nice. I'm not going to sit here on a Filipino channel and tell you that this hasn't been the best experience of my life. Of course it has. I'm just pointing out to you guys that there are plenty of nice people all over the world, right? So speaking of which, I want to talk about Russia for a second, right? And the reason why I want to talk about Russia is it happens to be a place that I spent some time there, right? So I can talk about it because I have been there. And I can tell you that the people that I hung with are some of the nicest people in the world. And they're nowhere near um, in debt as much as the United States. It's incredible. You have 140 million beautiful people living there with a very, very small population of people running the whole place, just like the United States. It's amazing how, they have similar things going on. You got a huge population of hardworking people, and then you have a small group of beginners running the whole place. And so that pretty much, and so in Russia, I ran into some of the nicest people, and I was thinking to myself, man, I sure was sold a bill of goods. You know, I thought to myself, man, why do they teach revisionist history and all this other stuff in school? And let's see, the other thing is Russia's not a debtor nation. The United States is, and Russia's not. What are you going to do? You know, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. I don't know. We're putting economic sanctions on them, and it has no. It's not having any kind of effect. Well, that's not true. The ruble is collapsing. They need dollars in there some kind of way, but that's what the whole BRICS thing is all about. So you can't blame them. But the people that I ran into at Moscow, the place where I spent the majority of my time, it's just like it reminded me very, very much of Los Angeles. And then the story I tell is you have Escalades running around there in Moscow with California license plates. Oops, somebody in California is missing their Escalade. Only downside to the Philippines is the time. It doesn't matter. So 60 years of following a schedule, it's gone. In the Philippines, the other's paperwork. Yeah, but it's all improving. For example, uh, did you know California has the same population as Canada? Well, who would live in Canada? Tim. The only reason to go to Canada is for the great health care, right, Mike? Oh, man, I'm out of control today, right? No, all that stuff is improving. It's improving. A call center, Amazon call center in Cebu is not going to put up with you being late for work. They're not. They're going to fire your. They're going to fire you, and they're going to say, you go in there and start talking about Filipino time, and they're going to say, bye bye, go work for 7-Eleven or somebody else. But I was in a 7-Eleven and talking to the clerk behind the counter. They said they don't put up with that crap. was talking to a young man who's a manager trainee, and he was telling me they don't put up with that crap. I'm an educated man. Those were his exact words to me. I don't put up with that crap, and I did not spend 4 years in college and management school to come out and blow a job, blow my future by being late to work. That sounds very American to me, you know. And also, when Minnie and I went to Intermuros, and I think I did a video of this, right? When we went to Intermuros, they pulled her right up on the computer, and there she was. Oh, here's what we need to do for you to help you out. The information officer. Print out, go to window B, go to window A. See? And so that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's improving very, very quickly. And those are the things that they're going to need to have in place in order to emerge, you know, from a developing nation status, from an emerging economy. But the whole idea of being here has more to do with, for me, it has more to do with, do I want to spend my time, the rest of my life, the rest of the years that I have left, in a declining, in the collapse of the Roman Empire, watching it happen in slow motion, or do I want to be somewhere where the economy is growing, emerging, that's not a huge debtor nation, they have debt, but it's under control? Do I want to be part of that winning formula? And I do. See, I do. I want to be part of it because I don't want to be sad every day. I don't want to sit there crying in my glass of Emperador every day, saying, "Oh, woe is me! You know, woe is me. I should have stayed in the United States." Yeah, yeah. And my view on that, um, that's because we monetize everything. We don't have well, you know, the whole thing about Donald Trump is Donald Trump made $7 million off his mugshot. I don't know if you know that. So I said that would happen. I even predicted it, Mike. I even predicted it to you on one of the live streams. I said he will figure out a way to make money out of it, and he did. You know, it is the most viewed picture and Twitter statement in history. In history. And he made something like $7 million by the promoting of his mugshot. And I knew it was going to happen because I looked at him and I said, "Oh, the man's a genius. You know, the man is an absolute genius, right?" And there are very, very few geniuses, you know, in the world left. The world actually has all that they need. But he's 77 years old, you know. Better that he has a better chance. I shouldn't say this. I should just drop this whole subject. The whole thing is things aren't going to turn out the way most people think on this whole deal. You know, I mean, you know, something bad's going to happen. That's all I got to say. Something bad's going to happen. You know, because people are going to see how he's getting out of these indictments and things like that, and they will take action on their own. I don't wish the man ill will. You know, I don't know him. I know his politics. I don't know him. Everybody says he's a right winger. He's not. He's a moderate. You know, he's a moderate in the way Ronald Reagan was a moderate. You know, that's how I view him. And so something bad's going to happen because they're going to become frustrated because he'll end up prevailing again. You know, he'll slap his slogan on a T-shirt and he'll end up making tens of millions of dollars just off of that. And so, could you or I do it? No, no. It's the people that are pushing them. It's the people. 12 million views, you're saying, in the first 12 hours. That's what I'm talking about. Or 4 million views in the first 12 hours. That's the point that you're well aware of. And so, yeah, he's been the butt of you know, people's jokes for a long time, but he's running away. He's running away in the polls, and he's running away with it. He doesn't even have to show up to debate, you know. And I recommend that that he doesn't, because if he does, he'll end up opening his mouth, and then he'll end up having those numbers shift, probably, shift lower. But he made his own mugshot and sold them. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. Very enterprising. Very, very enterprising. The guys on the other end taking the pictures, they probably all got his autograph. I mean, come on. The guys the guys hooking them up and going back there taking the fingerprints and doing the mug shots. Those were his people, Mike. Those were his people. Then he comes out and he says it wasn't such a pleasant experience having to go through all that. Do you really believe that, Mike? When he has the entire courtroom, court officers pouring down into the room to shake his hand. Come on, well, he's richer than you or I will ever be, and so he's got something going on. And so I know, anyway, I know for some reason it irritates you, but I just laugh at it. I just look at it. And go, what? Why would a Canadian be so interested in our U.S. politics when half the country doesn't even give a damn about U.S. politics? I admire you for that, but unfortunately, it's lost on me. It doesn't mean anything to me because I just sit back and I go, oh, I look at it a little bit different way, right? I look at it and go, well, man, that was a smart move. See, I'm liberal, right? I'm a registered Democrat. And I sit back and I look at this and I go, oh, that was a smart move. I like that. That's the move that I would have made. I mean, I can't help myself for acknowledging brilliance, no matter what party they belong to. So anyway, what are we going to do now? I think that's a wrap, right? I think that's it. I think Donald and his scapegoats, because it affects us all as much as it does. Listen, just ignore them. That would be my best advice. Just ignore them. We got more problems on our side of the ledger anyway. We got more problems coming out from our end. All right. Man, I think we ought to. Oh, wait. Stuff the pig. Doggone it. Let's see. Again, I wish they would listen to us, Mike, but they won't. So what are we going to do? They won't listen to us. Look, they're getting ready to do something again. The only thing that we can do is step outside, and no one wants to step outside. That's the thing that I worry about. Is that everyone, they sit back and they talk about we need to do something, right? Yeah, no, she's not right. Yeah, no one wants to step outside and do anything, about this. Everybody knows that there's a problem, but nobody wants to be part of the solution to it. And then here I am talking about it. I'm over in the Philippines. See how wrong it is? The whole thing is just wrong. I'm even ashamed to have to share my opinion with anybody because I'm over here. And the kind of crap that I have to listen to all day long. Oh, I see. So you sold your house, you took all the money and you went to the Philippines. So you could have sex with underage minors, right? Yeah. If they didn't say it in front of my face, they said it behind my back. So anyway. Okay, Mike, I got you recorded. So here's for stuffing the pig. So this is 100 pesos I'm putting in there today. Right? And then we're going to draw for 200. So in it goes. Yeah. No. I'm not pulling the money out after I do this on camera. Mike, I'm not cheating. Yeah. I'm not after the live is over, I don't go in there and pull the money back out. Anyway, so tomorrow's live stream is canceled, folks. Because Mammy and I will be working on trying to figure out how we're gonna get over to Cebu. We have to get over to Cebu to pay the rent and to live for a few weeks and get ready to pack our stuff up and travel to the United States. I hope my worst fear, Mike, actually is that we end up going over there and then something happens and we can't get back. That's what I worry about the most now. So, okay, everybody, premieres coming up. Filipino Raquel, give a thumbs up. Good luck on the premiere. Please go to it if you can. We're going to draw. Ma'am Minnie, are you here? Ma'am Minnie. Ma'am Minnie. Ma'am Minnie. All right. Looks like Dan is going to pull the number tonight. I hope you trust me. I hope you trust me. No. I'm not paranoid. I'm practical. Yeah. Ma'am Minnie, are you here? Yeah. Yeah. They want you to pull the number. They don't want to look at me anymore. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm not ready to go really.
Oh my goodness.
Say hello to everybody while I get ready and pull up the list.
It's not time you're live. Hello everybody. Good evening. Who's this?
Oh, we got to find
Sir Mike.
Mertz's list.
And Ate Cora, kumusta? Sir Tim. Nami. Hi, Kristen.
Okay, so we have newbies in here, right? Yen and Ronaldin.
You don't have a
Yeah, it's starting to get hot, but I am ready to go. We're at 1:32 in the live stream. It's time to go back to watching TV. Okay, here we go. Here, let me move the camera over. Man, Minnie. All right. He's gonna pull the number.
Lucky number.
What do we got? Okay, lucky number. Oh, that's a solid number right there, 64.
Oh, almost 69.
Number 64. Don't get excited about that there, honey.
Girly, how are you?
Number 64, first call out. Number 64 is Mawelma 2. Second call. Oh, Mawelma's here. Mawelma 2, you have to say present though, right? Mawelma 2. Number 64. Mawelma 2. Third call out. Number 64.
Person. Yay.
Winner, chicken dinner. Mawelma, you are today's 200 peso winner. I'll send that out right away. Thanks everybody for putting up with me. I don't know why you do it. And the next live.
We'll cook chicken tomorrow.
Yeah. The next live is going to be from Cebu if we make it there in one piece. Thanks everybody for honoring me. Mike and Tim, thanks for putting up with me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. And think about Larry. Think about Larry having to work and not able to be here to say his magic words. Be good, and we'll see you on the next live. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.